My name's Rich Harrington, and welcome to this edition of Understanding Adobe Photoshop. Today, we're going to take a look at smart objects, which are a great way to work with images non-destructively. Now, a smart object is a very special type of layer. Essentially, it contains all of the original pixel data inside of the image. Here's how it works. I've got one image open, and I want to add another layer to the scene. So I'll choose File, Place, and I will navigate out to the object I want. Here we go. And I'll hit Place, and it adds it to the scene. Now, it automatically scaled it down to fit, and that's a user preference, which I'll show you in just a moment. We can now use commands here, just like Free Transform. Shift key will constrain it. Holding down the Option or Alt key will scale from the center. And we could put that wherever we want. And hit Return, and it's applied. Now, if you want that level of easy control, I recommend you check a couple of user preferences. You can press Command or Control K, and when you do that, make sure that you have place or drag raster images as smart objects. That's very important, so it gets added as a smart object with the Place command. The other one that's important is resize image during place. So this will take a very large file and automatically scale it down to fit within the document that you're placing it into. So, two useful preferences related to placing. Now, if you look over here in the Layers panel, you see a very different icon here, indicating that this is a smart object layer. So, if we were to transform this really small and hit Apply, we actually have great flexibility. Now, normally in this case, if you did that to a regular layer, here's what would happen. Let's go ahead and just rasterize this smart object for a second. I've got that selected. We'll just duplicate that, Command J, and I'll choose Layer, Smart Object, Rasterize. That just permanently converts the smart object back to a normal pixel layer. Now, if you had sized a normal pixel document down that small and then you blew it back up, notice how it's all pixelated in soft. That's because when you transform or resize a normal object, image data is actually thrown away. On the other hand, if we did that to the smart object and we scale that back up, it can go very large. In fact, we can go larger than our original place because this contains all of the pixel data of the image. There we go. This actually has the original pixel data stored inside the layer. If you select the layer and choose Layer, Smart Objects, Edit Contents, you'll see a new Photoshop document opens up, and this is actually stored inside, showing you the contents of the smart layer. So if we were to manipulate this, maybe apply a vibrance adjustment and really make that rich, with a little more saturation, and apply a second adjustment for levels and open up the midtones a little bit to make it a little brighter. There we go. Change the stacking order. Close, save. You'll see here that this image is now updated. So it's pretty cool. We can go ahead and distort that, manipulate it, rotate it, do everything we need. And when we need to, we can just jump back into the original and modify it. You can also export that smart object. So if you need to, you could say Layer, Smart Objects, Export Contents, and that will spit it out to a new clean document. So a lot of flexibility with smart objects. There is one more thing, though, that I want to show you, which is a sneak peek to our filter usage, and that is a smart filter. If you have a layer and you've turned it into a smart object, you can actually go ahead and apply filters. So we've got an image here. Let's just size it how we want. We'll make it a little smaller. There we go. And if I choose Filter, I could start to apply things like a Gaussian blur. And maybe I crank that out, and then I say, wow, what was I thinking? That's way too much. Well, you can modify it at any point in time, even after you close and save the document. Just come back in, double-click on the filter, and you've got full editable controls. You can also click the little blending option here and that little double arrow and change how the filter is applied, giving it a very different look here. So, great flexibility when working with smart objects. For Understanding Adobe Photoshop, my name's Rich Harrington.